to Zimmer Biomet Park, Kissogue for the TUS Clare Intermediate Football County Final here in Kissogue Park between Corofin and Cooraclare. My name is Peter O'Connell and I'm delighted to be joined on co-commentary and match analysis by Clondigad manager James Murray. James, absolutely perfect conditions here for what we hope will be a great game.
Absolutely, Peter. To be fair, 2 weeks ago, the weather's been, mild, really good. The Corofin Clondigad semi-final was, mild conditions. Today, again, very mild. I suppose back in Milltown for the banner in Cooraclare, it's been breezy, and they've been playing in West Clare. I'm not sure whether Cooraclare they might be used to these conditions, maybe, as much as Corofin today.
Just looking at some of the stats, Corofin have scored 11 goals. Cooraclare have scored 3, and all 3 in one game against Kilrush. So there's a clear signal there that Corofin have a lot of attacking threat. I suppose Cooraclare will be hoping that if they need a goal or two, that they'll be able to dig it out somewhere. Yeah,
but I suppose the one caveat there, Peter, is they didn't have arguably probably the best footballer in Clare at the moment, and Brian Mack, for 3 of those for those 5 games. And again, the conditions probably didn't suit goal chances, against the banner and Boredom. It was a really, really tight semi-final. So to be honest with you, that wouldn't overly concern me, from a Cooraclare perspective. If they can handle a Kilrush attack, they won't be 100 miles away from handling a Corofin attack.
And that's a very good point, because that Corofin attack with Jamie Malone, as we know, flying over and back to Dubai, to 2 Cahills, they're lethal forwards if they get that bit of space.
Yeah, most definitely. And to be fair to Corofin, they've been mixing their game. They put it through their hands. But I think what we'll find here today, they will probably try and play some dink passes, and it's the movement. It's not necessarily the pace of Garrod or Jamie or Dermot. It's their movement and to get separation, and for the boys outside them and even themselves to play those 25-30 metre passes where they can get separation and get easy scores.
And what I was particularly impressed by in the semi-final against yourselves, James, the Cahills, they missed 1 or 2 chances, but they never shied away from going for the next chance.
No, and I suppose, you know what, Peter, that probably, they're both in their mid-20s now, but it has bore out from, playing senior for 2 or 3 years, and coming up against more experienced teams that, at intermediate level, Corofin, they didn't have a whole pile to fear, if that makes sense. Those 2 lads have both been on county squads all the way up along. So, and the same with Jamie. It's in their DNA that if they do miss, they'll put it to the back of their mind and they'll go again.
Cooraclare have a very young team. Their goalkeeper, Harry O'Gorman, he's still at school. 2 of the other starting players, including Simon Culligan, still at school as well. And actually, Harry O'Gorman has been very, very impressive from long range frees. We even saw it last night in the Junior A final. The first 2 scores, a brace of 2-pointers from the 2 keepers, so it is an important facet.
Yeah, no, massively. I suppose the one thing is, in any game of football, can the goalkeeper kick out the ball? So more often than not, the goalkeeper is the one that has the biggest distance. And then, when they're practicing and training, they're doing their shot stopping and they're doing their kick-outs. So, they have an opportunity, to go the other way and put the ball over the bar. So they're probably the one player in any team that can go and practice. And across the county, it's not just for Lissy Casey yesterday with Killian Normile or Cooraclare with Harry O'Gorman. You'll see it across the board where the goalkeeper does take the 2-pointer. The one thing I would probably look at today's game is that Killian McGrory kicked 2 from 2 in the semi-final. So Corofin will probably have equally as good a free taker as what Cooraclare will have. And to be fair to Harry, he's probably 17-18. He's been very impressive, and it will be an important facet of their game today.
And just finally for now, James, Cooraclare, a younger team. I suppose key for them will be to start nice and solidly. They don't need to make a spectacular start, but they want to make sure that they're still in the game approaching half-time.
Yeah, and the key to that is going to be Pierce Lillis. Again, he's played for Clare for 10 years. He's been away travelling. He's come back this year, and he's basically been the rock that alongside Brian Mack on how Cooraclare have built their team. The big question for Cooraclare will be is, do they go and put Pierce on Jamie or one of the 2 Cahills, or do they leave him free? Because Corofin do play without a centre forward, so it will be interesting to see, do Corofin counteract and put somebody on Pierce to stop Pierce playing, or is Pierce left free? Because if he is left free, I think Cooraclare will be a little bit more miserly than maybe what the other teams have been in the championship.
And just very finally on that point, James, if Corofin spot that Pierce is picking up Jamie, do you think the Corofin might play Jamie inside so to keep Pearce out of the middle third, because he'd be a big loss for Cooraclare in that area.
Very much so, and that's and again, not happening back to our own semi-final. We had that with Killian Brennan, and Killian as a defender was probably on par with Pearce. Killian on Jamie, and Jamie spent a lot of his time inside, and it negated Clonagad's attack, where Killian wasn't allowed to go forward. So you can be sure Corofin will be very cute, and it'll be interesting that first 6 minutes of the game, as teams begin to settle down. The one thing that they won't want to do is concede a goal, but it'll be just feeling each other out in those first 5 or 6 minutes.
We can't wait for a throw in here in Zimmer Biomet Park, Kissogue. We're really looking forward to the 2025 Intermediate County Final. Welcome back live to Zimmer Biomet Park, Kissogue, for the TUS Clare Intermediate County Final between Corofin and Cooraclare. And just before we run through the starting teams, James Murray is here as our match analyst. And James, we were just looking there at the flags. There's a light breeze blowing towards the Clyster end.
Yeah, it's very minimal, Peter. It won't be a 3 or 4 point breeze, and I don't think it'll affect either team today.
So just to run through the starting teams, Cooraclare will start with Harry O'Gorman in goals. Their full back line, Gary Donlan, their captain, is at right cornerback. Garrod Lillis full, and Ronan Donlan wears 4. The Cooraclare half back line, Kieran Chambers, Pierce Lillis at 6, and Jake Gary wears 7. Their midfield combination, Sean O'Dea, will be partnered by Brian McNamara. The Cooraclare half-forward line, Jack Carey, Sean Brown at centre-forward and wearing 12, Darragh Townsend. And their inside line, Simon Culligan and Shane Lillis. And just very quickly, the Cooraclare subs, Mark Reedy, Tyg Lillis, Aaron Townsend, Colin McNamara, Sean Malloy, James Burke, Aaron Constantine, Rory Lillis, Fergal Donlan, Gary Cunningham, Fionn Burke, Inda Mullins, Conor Gorman, Oisin Morrissey, and wearing 30, Damien Burke. And Corofin line out with Luke Nealon in goals. Mark O'Loughlin, Killian Mullins, and John Rees makes up the full back line. The Corofin half back line, Quiveen O'Donovan at 6, Damien O'Loughlin, and wearing 7, Kevin Keane. Their midfield, Killian McGrory, is partnered by Garrod Kelly. The Corofin half forward line, Keane Doolan, Sean O'Brien is at 11, Evan Doolan wears 12. And their inside line, Diarmuid Cahill, 13. At full forward, the captain, Garrod Cahill, and Jamie Malone wearing 15. And their substitutes, Garrod Hanrahan, Colin Fitzgerald, Cahill Flanagan, Michael Cahill, Josh Ryan, Colin Breen, Sinan Kirby, Owen O'Brien, Josh O'Brien, Tiernan O'Neill, Diarmuid Daly, Adam O'Loughlin, Ross Hayes, Robin Mounsey, Enda Collins, and Cormac Walsh. And one or two of those players on the subs bench, but not actually togging. And James, fairly decent crowd building up as well. Yeah, I know. Looking across now, Peter, there's a fine crowd in the terrace, and when we were doing the match preview down below, both sides of the stand were starting to fill up. We off air we were talking about kick-out strategies, and you're particularly interested in how Cooraclare will deal with Corofin's kick-out. Yeah, Corofin's kick-out is, Luke has a sharp kick out. He aims at, I suppose the 5 box, the 7 box, more often than not, and it's not long. It won't go to midfield. Now Cooraclare's midfield pairing of Brian McNamara and Sean O'Dea is probably one of the strongest in the competition. So how do Cooraclare deal with that? Do they move one of the boys to the wing? And in fairness, on the flip side of that, from Corofin, Kevin Keane has been a major kick-out winner, all championship for Corofin. And, Darragh Townsend wouldn't be the biggest lad in the world. Again, Will Martin-Daly and his management team look to make a couple of changes where they can attack that Corofin kick-out. The toss was made a couple of minutes ago. Gary Toomey is the referee from Ennisdiamond. Corofin won the toss, and Garrod Cahill has opted to play into the Clyster end here in Zimmer Biomet Park, Kissogue. So that very light breeze that James mentioned will be at Corofin's back in the opening half. A reminder, of course, Corofin were relegated last year from the Clare Senior Football Championship, so they're looking to make an immediate return. Cooraclare were relegated in 2021, and they did reach the final the following year in 2022, were beaten by Killysert. So again, they'll be extremely keen themselves to return to the Clare Senior Football Championship in 2026. So we're approaching the national anthem here in Zimmer Biomet Park, Kissogue. Both teams almost ready to go, and we'll have a minute's silence now as well, and we'll talk to you in a few seconds. So it's almost 1:15, and both teams ready for hopefully what will be a very good game, James. And I just mentioned the Junior A final last night in Kilmahill. It was a great attacking game between Killimer and Lissycasey, and hopefully we'll see maybe a similar attacking approach from both teams here.
Well, the open spaces here in Cusack Park, and so hopefully the big pitch, and and the good conditions and the good ground will make for a good game of football.
So Gary Toomey is ready. He's checking, making sure everyone else is ready, that the players are back sufficiently behind the 45 and all of that. The two players in the middle of the field are ready for action, Brian McNamara and Garrod Kelly. So the ball is thrown in and it breaks and nobody wins it cleanly, but Cooraclare do win the first ball with Pierce Lillis at centre back, and Pierce Lillis spreads it to the left hand side. So Cooraclare now launching the first attack with Jack Carey wearing 10. Carey turns back and he spots that Sean O'Dea is free in the middle of the field. O'Dea switches it to the stand side and finds Jake Gary, and Gary gets it forward as far as the Cooraclare number 12 Dara Townsend. Townsend pops it inside to the Cooraclare corner forward Shane Lillis, a very noted golfer as well. Lillis gets it back to Sean O'Dea. He's second possession and he finds Pierce Lillis again. Pierce Lillis has been involved a few times now in the early seconds. Sean Brown has it now for Cooraclare, and Corofin just setting up outside the arc. Lillis has it again now. Can somebody break a tackle or maybe find a pass that might put somebody through? And that pass from Pierce Lillis is cut out, and immediately now Kevin Keane has it, and Keane doesn't have anyone coming off his shoulder but does eventually find first time ball, lovely first time ball forward to Diarmaid Cahill wearing 13. Cahill now soling the ball, pops it inside, gives it to his brother full forward Garrod. Garrod has the first shot from distance, and it's an excellent shot from the captain of Corofin. Garrod Cahill puts it straight over the bar, and I suppose a bit of a contrast there, James. Cooraclare had the ball.
Yeah, the patience of Cooraclare. The patience of Cooraclare. They gave a cheap turnover. They went down the middle into Corofin to turn them over. And in fairness, 20 seconds later, the ball was over the bar for Corofin. Good direct play. First
kick out now from Harry O'Gorman. He's also excellent from frees. The ball breaks and it's won by Cooraclare and by Sean Brown. And Cooraclare now breaking forward with Pierce Lillis. Pierce Lillis links up there with Simon Culligan. He's their top scorer in the championship so far. He scored 120, gives it back to Sean Brown. So can Cooraclare now make something happen here with what's their second stint of having a fairly lengthy period of possession? Pierce Lillis has it again now, definitely playing at centre back. He gives it there to Jake Gary. He was full back last year, playing left half back now. This year Sean O'Dea now breaking forward. O'Dea takes the 1-2. He's a shot on. He recycles. He wasn't going to take the shot off his left foot, but that's given away cheap. This is the second turnover and an opportunity now for Garrod Kelly to get it forward, but it's really well cut out by the Cooraclare cornerback and the captain. That was great defending there from Gary Donlan, and he made the support run forward as well. Pierce Lillis has it again. So both teams have given away handy enough possession. Simon Culligan has it now. He's a good bit out from goals. Pierce Lillis spots the run from Sean Brown. The shot is on, but the accuracy isn't there. Definitely the shot was on, James, but just not to finish.
What's very noticeable, Peter, is that Pierce Lillis is handling an amount of ball. He's had 6 or 7 touches of the ball, doesn't seem to be readily picked up, and he's the focal point of Cooraclare attacks. If he can get Cooraclare moving and get them in behind Corofin, I think Cooraclare could get a bit of joy, and Corofin will need to tighten up on him.
So the kick out now from Luke Neelan goes long. It breaks 2 or 3 around it. Nobody getting full control of it until eventually Damien O'Loughlin did just that, and O'Loughlin has it now and he's breaking forward for Corofin. Finds Keane Doolan, and Corofin now have a little bit of possession with Garrod Kelly. Garrod Kelly gives it to Kevin Keane. He's had a great championship at left half back for Corofin. One of their targets on the kickouts, and has also been very impressive as well, attacking from that position. Killian McGrory now, as Corofin slow it down a small bit and try to maybe spot the inside run. First opportunity now for Jamie Malone. Jamie Malone taking on his marker Garrod Lillis, and Malone has it back again. Can he maybe find somebody coming off his shoulder? Holds on to it well, 4 or 5 Corofin men outside him, gives it to Gerard Kelly, and it's going to be back now with Killian McGrory. So Corofin being patient, Cooraclare setting up patiently enough themselves as well in terms of how they set up defensively. Kevin Keane has it now, a man who's well able to break the tackle. Lovely pass from Keane inside to Cahill. Cahill takes the shoulder, holds on to it, tries to go for a point from a very acute angle, and it goes just wide, and it didn't look as if it was on, but maybe it was a bit closer than I thought.
Yeah, no, it was from a very tight angle, but again, noticeable, Peter, that the person that put the tackle in on Gerard Cahill was Pierce Lillis. Seems to be playing as a free man, covering any ball in behind. That was a good ball, good hand passing behind from Kevin Keane, and Gerard Cahill didn't take his chance. But again, both teams trying to be very, very patient, when the attack slows down.
So that kick out short there from Harry O'Gorman. Cooraclare now have to try and work it out with Ronan Donlan. Donlan finds Lillis. Pierce Lillis has been just hungrily looking for the ball right from the start. Jake Gary has it now. Gary gives it to Sean Brown. Sean Brown pops it. Is it a free? The referee doesn't look interested, and the shot there from a huge distance, is it going to drop short? It goes out wide, just off the hands of Kevin Martin there. The shot from Brian McNamara, and it's the kind of shot, James, that if it had worked, it would have been inspirational, and when it doesn't, well,
yeah, no, it's a killer. Cooraclare, for they've had 3 attacks already, Peter, and they've nothing to show for it. They need a score to settle their nerves. Luke
Neelan now goes wide with this one, but Cooraclare with Kieran Chambers win the break. Cooraclare have had an awful lot of possession in the opening 6 minutes of this game, but they need to get a score, I suppose, to reflect that, the fact that they've had so much ball. So let's see now what's going to happen with Pierce Lillis again. Lillis spreads it to the far side of the field, and you can see in the far side the stand-up stand, if we can call it that, as Kieran Chambers attacks, is quite full. So a very decent crowd in for the intermediate final, first of a double header. Great opportunity now for Cooraclare and their number 10 Jack Carey, but Carey didn't get the shot in, and eventually there was a shot in there from Kevin Martin, dropped inside. It was well dealt with there by Luke Neelan, and Corofin win the free out. Evan Doolan, Kevin Keane, the cornerback. Mark O'Loughlin spreads it now to Sean O'Brien, who has played a lot of his football at centre back as well, wearing 11 today. O'Brien finds McGrory. McGrory links up nicely now with Gerard Kelly. Gerard Kelly, nice first time ball into Jamie Malone. 2 or 3 players around Jamie, holds on to it well, loses possession. Does he win it back? Does win it back, goes to ground free right on the arc. And I suppose, James, if we're going to dispossess Jamie Malone, you better make sure you get the ball away, because he can obviously, is well able to win it back. I
thought Gerard Lillis did absolutely excellent, and to be fair, seeing on what Gary didn't give a free down the other end of the pitch, it was probably of the soft variety, even though it was a push on Jamie. But the way he refereed it down the other side, says to me that he probably, it could have been played on. Now, if you look at it, Peter, as we're looking at the picture, Killian McGrory is 1 metre inside the 40 metre arc, which is the difference, and he strokes it over the bar, but that's the difference between either a 1-pointer and a 2-pointer, and it might come down to that at the end of the game. And
that was an absolutely perfectly struck free from Killian McGrory. Not much backlift, just took a step or two back, and as James said, stroked it over. Lovely second point for Corofin, who now lead Cooraclare by 2 points to no score. So the Cooraclare kick out is 1. Nice first time ball forward from McGrory into Malone. Malone pops it to Gerald Cahill. Cahill is in, and off his left fist pops that over the bar, and that's the Corofin captain's 2nd point. And I know it's very early, James, but Corofin just finding it that bit easier to get the scores.
Yeah, it's their efficiency, and if you look at what Gerard Cahill did to get that score, he hand passed the ball over the bar with his weaker left hand. His basics, very, very simple. Another lad might have used his right hand, put that wide, but because he's a very accomplished footballer, that's the difference of maybe winning and losing the game, and it's a great start for Corofin.
Harry O'Gorman now goes to the far side of the field, but it drifts out over the sideline. You could definitely see why The Cooraclare goalkeeper was switching the point of the kick out, but Corofin have won it back now. Gerald Kelly pops it to O'Brien. Sean O'Brien breaks forward. The shot is on here. It's going to drop short, and Harry O'Gorman deals with that very competently. And Cooraclare now trying to come out with this one and maybe set up some kind of an opportunity with Roland Donnellan. Good stuff from Donnellan. Donnellan gets it forward as far as the centre forward Brown. Pops it on to Dara Townsend. Townsend gets it inside. This is nice from Cooraclare to Shane Lillis. Lillis off his left foot, looking around, seeing is there anyone making a run? Is there anyone inside that he could find? He pops it instead to Sean O'Dea. Pierce Lillis has it again now. And the Cooraclare inside line, the man closest to goal there is Simon Culligan. So if Cooraclare are looking for somebody to make a run inside or an option inside, he definitely could be one. Sean O'Dea has it. O'Dea pops it to Brian McNamara. McNamara taking on Corofin now. Great run from McNamara. Excellent run now. Can he get to finish? He looks to recycle. Nearly gave it away. It was nearly cut out there by Keane Doolan. But Cooraclare have it back again now with Sean Brown, and Brown from distance. And that's Cooraclare's second wide. And there was just a sniff there, James, that Brian McNamara maybe was in for an attempt at a point.
Just off camera, I've been watching Peter. It's Killian McGrory that's picking Brian McNamara up. Now in the quarter final, Dara Bohannon would be of the same ilk as Brian McNamara. It was Garrod Kelly that picked him up. Now today that they've changed, and it's Killian McGrory, and he seems to be following him everywhere he goes. And so far, Brian hasn't had an influence in the game.
Jake Gary couldn't get off the ground there and was overcarried, so it's a quick free for Corofin, and they've got it now with Keane Doolan. Kevin Keane limping a small bit there, so hopefully he's not too serious from a Corofin point of view. Gerald Kelly breaking forward. Kelly finds Gerald Cahill. He's now far out from goal. Lovely 1-2. Good football. The shot is on for Jamie Malone, and that is drifts wide. And the umpire confirms that, so the scoreline remains Corofin leading by 3 points to Corofin's as of yet no score. We've had almost 12 minutes here in Zimmer Biomet Park Kisog live on Clare GA TV. The TUS Intermediate County Final between Corofin, who were relegated last year, and Cooraclare, who are looking to return to senior status for the first time since 2021. Harry O'Gorman now lands this in the middle of the field and finds Brian McNamara. McNamara, first time ball inside to Shane Lillis. Lillis out near the sideline, picks it up. He's got a man inside if he can play a 1-2. Good stuff from Lillis. Can he maybe create the angle for the shot? Instead he recycles to Kieran Chambers. On the far side of the field, Jake Gary is free. Pierce Lillis has it now. Lillis now breaking forward. Is he going to pop it off? Does pop it off to Simon Culligan. Culligan switches it to the far side. And the Cooraclare man, who's number 10, Jack Carey, goes to ground, does well to hold on to it, gets it back to Sean Brown, and the man who has it now is Kieran Chambers again. And again, a lot of possession for Cooraclare. And James, I suppose they just need to make something happen from an attacking point of view. They need to break a tackle at some stage.
They're finding it very, very hard to get their shots off. Corofin are keeping them out of the shooting zone, whereas if you look up at the other end, any time Corofin have had a chance to shoot, they've had easy chances. Jamie missed the last one. Now this chance here for Cooraclare has come from Brian being fouled. Cooraclare probably need Pierce and Brian to go more at Corofin, try to draw frees, bring Harry up or bring Simon on the frees and start to get a couple of points on the board.
And that's exactly what happened that time. Brian McNamara just took on Corofin. There was 2 or 3 around him, and eventually Corofin gave away the free. So an opportunity here now for Simon Culligan to put this over the bar off his left foot, and it's going to drop short. Didn't strike it particularly well, and Luke Neelan had no problem with that. So Corofin now, a bit of a let off there, because definitely Cooraclare have had enough possession to have a score or 2 on the board, but I suppose until it does go over the bar, as of yet there's no score on the board. Damien O'Loughlin gets it forward now to Kevin Keane. Keane recycles back to Gerard Kelly finds Corofin wing forward Evan Doolan finds Keane spreads it infield, so Corofin now look nice and relaxed there with Sean O'Brien, and O'Brien finds the opposite wing forward Keane Doolan, the two Doolans wearing 10 and 12. Diarmaid Cahill finds Keane again. Corofin being very patient. Do Cooraclare maybe need to push out a small bit? Centre back has now Damien O'Loughlin, but excellent defending there from Cooraclare, cut out there by Darragh Townsend, and now a bit of space maybe for Cooraclare to break forward and make something happen with Pierce Lillis. Lillis pops it inside to Townsend. Townsend finds McNamara, and Shane Lillis now from distance, but that shot is blocked down. It was a good half block there from John Rees, and Corofin now breaking out, and there's a bit of space here now for Kevin Keane, and he's fullback Mullins making a support run. Lovely ball forward to Gerard Cahill. Cahill taking on Cooraclare. Excellent stuff from Cahill, and for the second time off his left hand pops it over the bar. Got away there from Gary Donlan, and that's the difference, James.
It's the difference, Peter, because of the front three, and we spoke about them before the game. Garrod won that ball in front of Gary, turned, and again, could have went for the goal chance, but is it county final, get my score on the board and fist the ball over the bar, and it has Corofin 4 points up.
It's a third point from Gerard Cahill. So the kick out lands in the middle, but the break is won by Keane Doolan. Jamie Malone has it now. Malone from distance, a 2-pointer. If it does go over, it doesn't, it goes wide. And that was Jamie Malone's first attempt on goal in this intermediate county final. Corofin still leading by 4 points to no score for Cooraclare as of yet. Conditions absolutely perfect. We mentioned the very light breeze maybe 15-20 minutes ago. It's not even a light breeze at this stage. The flags literally on the sideline are not blowing, so the breeze definitely won't be a factor. The latest kick out now from Harry O'Gorman, really well won by Brian McNamara breaking forward. Referee Gary Toomey plays advantage. Great run from McNamara gets away and off his left foot has the shot. He's going to have the free as well, and Sean O'Brien was doing his best to get the tackle in, but McNamara got away and the finish just wasn't there. But there is a second opportunity, I suppose, for Cooraclare. It's a bit far out maybe for to go for the 2-pointer. I think they're more than likely going to go short, and Pierce Hillis does go short and finds Darragh Townsend now taking on Killian Mullins, gives it back to Jake Gary finds the centre forward Sean Brown, back now to Pierce Lillis breaks the tackle. Good stuff from Lillis. The shot is on, surely off his left foot, and it just skies it up in the air. It was a great run from Lillis, but just didn't get to finish, and he wins the break again, and this time off his left foot for the second time in about 15 seconds. If it doesn't work the first time, James, a man like Pierce Lillis isn't going to give up, and he didn't.
And to be fair, Peter, he's actually free in the game because Corofin don't play. They play with a deep line centre forward. He's free. He's taking the game, and so too Brian Mack to Corofin, and Cooraclare are going to need Pierce and Brian on the ball again. They're after winning the next kick out if they're going to have any say in this game.
And we can hear that there's huge support here for Cooraclare. The Cooraclare supporters, any chance at all that they get to get behind their team, they're going to do that. Second chance now for a second point, and it's an absolutely excellent score for Cooraclare, and it's put over the bar there by their wing forward Jack Carey. Super score from Carey, and suddenly, James, game on.
It's a 2-point game, and that's what Cooraclare, that's what the influence of Pierce Lillis. That point that he got, he mistook a shot, won the ball back, put it over the bar, and now because Luke Nealon's kick out is so short, Cooraclare win the break, and within 5 seconds, there's only 2 points in the game now again.
Luke Nealon aiming for Kevin Keane, but Cooraclare with Jake Gary win the kick out again. Good stuff from Gary. Goes down, wins the free, takes it nice and quick, and suddenly now there's a zip about Cooraclare with Sean O'Dea. It was a 4-point game, it's now a 2-point game. Pierce Lillis has it again. Lillis taking on Quivine O'Donovan, pops it back as far as the Cooraclare number 5 Kieran Chambers, and is there a shot on here? Back to Lillis. Cooraclare staying in nice and patient. Jake Gary is free on this side of the field, and Pierce Lillis finds him. Ball bounces over his head, but he's got time to get it back. Gets it back. Kevin Keane putting the tackle in. Keane holding up Gary, but Gary does well, and great shoulder there from Sean O'D, excellent shoulder from O'D there on Sean O'Brien. So Cooraclare definitely up in their game significantly. Slow enough to start, but they're well in it now at this stage. So
very noticeable, Peter, as well. You know, Sean O'Brien is now following Brian McNamara. I know Killian McGrory had started on him. And of the Cooraclare kickouts, Brian has won 2 balls. Corofin are going to need to try and get a handle on Brian winning primary possession, because this is now leading to Cooraclare having more possession, and now they've settled into the game and they've kicked another wide, you know, probably forced it a little bit, but you know, but to be fair to them now, they've settled into the game after 3 or 4 poor decisions in front of the goals.
And that was a nice run there from Shane Lillis, nice sharp run, but it just drifted wide off his right foot. There's a Corofin man down, looking for a bit of attention, looking at the clock. Exactly 20 minutes gone, and it's a 2-point game. Corofin leading Cooraclare by 4 points to 2. And at this stage, James, you'd be a bit happier if you were from Cooraclare. Like, they had a load of possession in the first 15 minutes, didn't make much happen, but suddenly then a couple of points and the complexion changes.
You know, they've settled into the game. But the one worry that I would have for them at the moment, yes, they're getting on possession, but they're not being as clinical as what Corofin have been, and they're not making the decisions in front of the goals, you know, that Martin Daly will and his management will like. Whereas Gerard Cahill has, because he's got 3 points, he's made good decisions in front of the goals to keep the scoreboard ticking over.
The man who was receiving attention there was Sean O'Brien, and Cooraclare now really doing well on the Corofin kick out, and Brian McNamara has it. McNamara now, we've seen what he can do when he takes on Corofin, nearly loses possession, wins it back again, advantage being played, foul there by Damien O'Loughlin, takes it quickly, and McNamara, the shot is on, and what a score from Brian McNamara. Outstanding 2-pointer, and it's level, and that's what this man can do.
Exactly that, Peter, and that's what you have when you have 2 marquee players on your team like Pierce Lillis and Brian McNamara. That's what they're expected to. You know, even though they are young fellas, you know, they're the more experienced players on the team, you know, and Brian really and as Pierce did earlier, standing up for their team, and now they're level.
And that was absolutely brilliant from McNamara. That just the way it left his left foot. Cooraclare now really dominating the Cooraclare kick out. Advantage being played. The shot is on. That goes well wide, but it's going to be a free for Cooraclare outside the arc. So perhaps an opportunity here now for maybe a 2-pointer. Or will they go short with it? It's probably a bit far, it's probably a bit too far outside the arc, to be fair, to maybe go directly. Pierce Lillis is going to take it, and I'd say he's going to go short. Probably a bit just too far out, James.
And just probably, Peter, yeah. He's gone short. But just as I mentioned before the game, Corofin have had 7 kickouts. Cooraclare have won 5.
Pierce Lillis off his left. Brilliant from Lillis. His 2nd point, and suddenly 5 points in a row from Cooraclare have put him into a 1-point lead. At one stage, Corofin were leading by 4 points to no score, and Cooraclare's domination for the last 5 or 6 minutes of the Corofin kick-out has got him right back into this. Most
definitely, you know, and it's an area where, you know, Cooraclare have their homework done, and when you win 5 out of 7 kick-outs, the 8th kick-out is coming now from Luke Nealon. It's gone down on top of Kevin Keane, but they don't win it again. And
Cooraclare now bursting forward with Sean Brown. Brown pops the ball into the middle of the field there to Sean O'D. Every Cooraclare man is looking for it. Kieran Chambers has been playing very well for Cooraclare. He's been on the ball a lot. Jack Carey has it for Cooraclare. Cooraclare now playing with real confidence. Excellent block there by Sean O'Brien. Good defending from O'Brien. And Corofin know that they've got to do something here with Killian Mullins to just settle a small bit again themselves, make something happen, win a ball in the middle third. They know they've got the forwards to do damage. Killian McGrory now will be looking for one of those forwards. Instead pops it, lovely pop to O'Brien. O'Brien breaking forward now, and a little bit of possession here now with Corofin, with Killian McGrory. McGrory now looking to the far side of the field, which is populated by quite a number of supporters, with Quiveen O'Donovan has it. O'Donovan gives it back there to Keane Doolan, and Doolan recycles to Gerard Kelly. McGrory is looking for it as well, and Kevin Keane is free on this side. Good stuff from Gerard Kelly, bursting forward. He knows that Corofin need to do something here. Gives it to Doolan, Keane Doolan. Doolan tries to pop it off, but it's cut out well, and the Cooraclare man there, the number 11, couldn't go for the ball. Sean Brown, because he knew if he did, he would have breached and would have been handy free from a huge distance out. 2 points effort, and it does go straight over the bar there from Diarmuid Cahill. And we've seen 2 fabulous 2-pointers, James, I have to say. That was brilliant from Cahill.
Unbelievable. Diarmuid Cahill has touched the ball twice in the last 30 seconds, Peter, but it was the first time in 7 minutes that Gearóid Cahill, Jamie Malone or Diarmuid Cahill touched the ball. And when the ball gets into their hands, Corofin are causing danger. But the problem is trying to win primary possession out around the middle again. Another kick out from Harry O'Gorman, and this time Corofin are on. Oh, they have it, and they're on the attack. And
David O'Loughlin did really well to hold on to that. Doesn't get it back as far as Jamie Malone. No, he doesn't, but the referee was playing advantage. It was a foul initially on O'Loughlin, and I suppose it's such an obvious one, James, but if you can win the opposition kick out, you put them under massive pressure.
Massive pressure, and to be fair, that's what Cooraclare's 10 minutes period of dominance has done. Now Corofin are after winning a kick out. They're after kicking a score. One of the Doolins has a chance to kick a score, brings it round to Killian McGrory, back to Queevin O'Donovan, and now I think Corofin will probably settle on the ball. Jamie's going to go for a 2-pointer.
Jamie from distance going to drop short, and the umpire is wondering, is it a 45, and eventually concerns that it is. Evan Doolin got in there and contested with Harry O'Gorman, but it deflected out over the inline. It's going to be a 45. We've had 25 and a half minutes. Corofin leading by a point, 6 points to Cooraclare's 5, and it's been really interesting, James. I mean, there's been a couple of times maybe early in the game where we might have thought Cooraclare could have been a bit more attack minded, but like they've had their spell. Corofin have had their spell. Like, it's fascinating.
Like, if you look at the strengths of the teams, Peter, it's Pearce and Bryan in the middle third driving and bringing Cooraclare forward, and then from the Corofin side of things, it's the efficiency and it's the shooting ability of the 2 Cahills and Jamie to finish the chances up front. It's going to be an intriguing, next 40 minutes to see who comes out on top.
Killian McGrory has already put over a free. This is a 45, no doubt about it. The white flag is flying, and Corofin are leading by 7 points to Cooraclare's 5, and it's a great thing to have in your arsenal, James, isn't it? A man who can do that.
Yeah, no, he's 2 from 2. Again, Harry probably hasn't had the opportunity down the other end, and a lot of people have spoken about Harry's ability to kick the frees over the bar, but in today's game, those 2 points that Killian has kicked have Corofin in the lead at the moment.
Harry O'Gorman lands it in the middle of the field, looking for McNamara. It breaks for Cooraclare, and the man who wins it is Sean Brown. He's been involved in an awful lot, overcarried, taken nice and quickly. Bit of space now is there for Gearóid Cahill. Cahill finds Jamie Malone. Malone, this should be a point. Yes, it is, and it's suddenly a 3-point lead now for Corofin, leading by 8 points to 5. And we've gone from Cooraclare, who were 4 points in no score, down, went into 5 points to 4 lead, and suddenly now Corofin have hit back.
Yeah, and it's all down to the 3 boys. The 3 boys touched the ball there again. The 2 boys, the two Cahills and Jamie. And to be honest, Peter, probably bar Rogue, of all the teams in Clare, any team would love to have those 3 as a top 3.
McNamara goes into the sky, brings it down. Brilliant from McNamara. He taking on now the Corofin man, Sean O'Brien, referee playing advantage. So Cooraclare will have 2 opportunities here now to get a score, and Jack Carey doesn't need the 2 opportunities because he takes the first one. 2nd point from Jack Carey. Great score for Cooraclare, and it's a 2-point game. Gary Toomey is reaching for his book, and he's going to book a Corofin man, and the Corofin man is Sean O'Brien. Yellow for O'Brien, and that really for a foul on McNamara, but McNamara's run again just absolutely pivotal to that score. So the latest kick out now from Corofin, and it's won really well there by Gearóid Kelly. Kelly did really well to hold on to it. Finds McGrory, his midfield partner. Finds Diarmuid Cahill. Diarmuid Cahill gives it to John Rees. Diarmuid Cahill has it again now for Corofin. McGrory is looking for it. He gives it to McGrory. McGrory looking inside. Gearóid Cahill calling for it inside, but that's just overhit there. It doesn't happen too often. Killian McGrory is a very good kicker, but that just drifted wide, James. I mean, it's all happening.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things, just as you mentioned there, Sean O'Brien is still on Brian McNamara, and he's picked up a yellow card. It will be interesting to see. I know we're close enough to half time, whether Corofin leave Sean O'Brien on Brian Mac, because Brian is going to draw frees, he's going to draw fouls, and Sean needs to be careful now that he's on a yellow card.
So we've exactly a minute left of normal time. We'll have a couple of minutes, I'd say, of injury time. 2-point game. As you can see, Corofin leading Cooraclare by 8 points to 6, and it's really building up into what hopefully will be an equally fascinating second half. Harry O'Gorman's kick out now. 3 Corofin men around it, and Jamie Malone wins a break. Lovely first time ball from Malone into Gerald Cahill. Gerald Cahill now taking on Cooraclare and striking a beautiful score over the bar, and that is just brilliant from Gerald Cahill. Jamie Malone, first time ball, he knows, bang it into Gerald, and more than likely that's what's going to happen.
Opposition kick out. Jamie playing in that false into forward role, came out, won the break, and looked up, no hop, no solo, straight into Gerald. And as captain of the team, he's leading by example for Corofin in this first half. Yeah,
he's been absolutely outstanding. 1 minute of injury time. Harry O'Gorman's kick out, won again by Corofin, and that's timed by Diarmuid Cahill. Diarmuid Cahill finds Killian McGrory. McGrory knows that the shot is on here, and it looks like it was well struck. I thought initially it was going over the bar, but it drifted wide, and it's still a 3-point game. 9-6 to Corofin. So just a few seconds now left, 30 seconds left of the 1 minute of injury time, and Cooraclare will just be thinking, let's make sure now we don't concede any more from this kick out.
Yeah, that's the main thing for Cooraclare. Hopefully they can win prime position. But as you notice, Peter, it's when both teams are on top, they're on top on the opposition kick out, because it's a shorter way to goals.
Cooraclare now should win this one. Eventually do. Good stuff there from Jake Gary. Gary finds Dara Townsend. Back with Gary. Pierce Ellis demands it. Pierce Ellis has it. Can Cooraclare now do something with what will be the last play of this opening half? And one man who could definitely do something is Brian McNamara. McNamara now goes to ground, fouled, soft enough, free into Cooraclare.
Yeah, very, very soft, Peter. And again, the way Gary's been refereeing the game, he's been letting a little bit go. And I thought Damien O'Loughlin did really well, just put his hand across the body. And it was more that Brian McNamara actually slipped. And, a turning point in the game. Harry O'Gorman's now jogging up. It's pretty much a 45, but it's a 2-point game. And Corofin, for all their bit of dominance there in the last 4 or 5 minutes, to go in 3 points up, it's going to flip the other way now. And, nobody back against Harry now, not putting this over the bar.
I think Pierce might have been, I don't know, was he half tempted to have a go himself, or was he going to go short? But he was encouraged to leave it for Harry O'Gorman, and this would be a massive boost for Cooraclare. They're 3 points down as we speak. If he floats this over, well, you don't need to be Einstein to work out. It'll be a 1-point game. So Harry O'Gorman now strikes it reasonably well, but it didn't have the accuracy, and it's the last kick of the first half. And at half-time, Corofin leading Cooraclare by 3 points, 9 points to Cooraclare 6. And, James, I suppose, ironically, both teams will look at some very good patches that they had in the first half, and they'll also look to patches where things weren't going so well. So, a bit of work for both teams to do at half-time.
And a bit of work for both teams to do on their own kickouts. They don't be. I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but I would say that a lot of where the opposition are getting their dominance is winning the break and ball off the opposition kickout, and it allows them then 55 metres from goals to go and attack straight away, and that's where the periods of dominance are actually coming from. But to be fair to both teams, their strengths. The strength of Corofin, as everybody will know, top probably 3 in the county. They're top 3 in the 3 boys. That's why they have 9 points on the board. In particular, Garrod, but Diarmuid and Jamie have had their period of dominance. Now on the flip side, it's been Brian and Pierce. And in fairness to Jack Carey, he's been supporting them very well. He's kicked 2 points.
2 great points.
2 points over on the far side. Something that Corofin are going to probably have to look at, because, if he gets primary possession, he's well able to cut in there, and there's probably another couple of points for him. But it'll be interesting to see how both teams go in at half-time and they can deal with the opposition's strengths to see if they can nullify them, to make sure that their strengths come out on top?
Well, it has been a really intriguing first half, and it's a bit of a cliche to say it's still all to play for, but it definitely is the case. Both teams will be in the dressing room at half time, knowing that this is there for them. So at half time, we'll take a break for a couple of minutes. Corofin leading by 9 points to 6. We'll be back very soon with the second half.
There's always a warm welcome waiting at O'Doherty's Bar, Cooraclare. Enjoy great pints, friendly company and the best of local crack in the heart of the village. Whether it's a quiet evening by the fire or a lively night with friends, O'Doherty's is the place to be. O'Doherty's Bar, Cooraclare. Good friends, good times, great memories.
Perfect first time ball forward from Rory to Malone. Malone pops it to Gerald Cahill. Cahill is in and off his left fist pops that over the bar, and that's the support run. Lovely ball forward to Gerald Cahill. Cahill taking on Cooraclare. Excellent stuff from Cahill, and for the second time off his left hand, pop a run from Lillis, but just didn't get to finish. And he wins the break again, and this time off his left foot for the second time in about 15 seconds. Any chance at all to get behind our team, they're going to do that. Second chance now for a second point, and it's an absolutely excellent score for Cooraclare, and it's put over. Wins it back again. Advantage being played. Foul there by Damien O'Loughlin, takes it quickly, and McNamara, the shot is on, and what a score from Brian.
Just as I mentioned before the game, Corofin had 7 kickouts, Cooraclare won 5.
Pierce Lillis off his left. Brilliant from Lillis. His second point. Ball, Sean Brown, because he knew if he did, he would have breached and would have been handy free from a huge distance out. 2 points effort and a free. This is a 45. No doubt about it. The white flag is flying. And Zimmer Bymid Park Kisog for the second half of the TUS Clare Intermediate County Final, and at half time, as you can see, Corofin leading by 9 points to 6, and James Murray, our match analyst. James, you've got some very interesting stats from the first half.
Yeah, I've a girl here beside me doing some stats, and Corofin have had 17 attacks, Peter. They had 13 shots and they had 8 scores, which included a 2-pointer. On the flip side, Cooraclare had 16 attacks. They had 10 shots and they had 5 scores, which shows Corofin's dominance in front of the goals. But then the big one then, on the kick-out side of things, Corofin have only won 3 out of their own 9 kick-outs, whereas Cooraclare have won 6 out of their own 13.
So Gary Toomey is ready, the two teams are ready. Brian McNamara from Cooraclare, Garrod Kelly from Corofin are going to contest this. McNamara goes very, very high. The ball goes to ground, but he picks it up and holds off Corofin. Good stuff there from McNamara. It takes the 1-2, and Jack Carey is free now. Jack Carey has put over 2 points in play in that first half. 2 super scores from wing forward. Great stuff from Carey, taking on Corofin. He's right in. 3 Corofin men around him. He goes to ground eventually, and the referee eventually gives a free out, and it's taken quickly by Corofin, and that was a great run. There was a chance there, James.
Yeah, he's as I said, Peter, before half time, he's the supporting cast. To Brian Mack and Pierce Lillis in driving, and it, on another day, he probably would, like Garrod Cal in the first half, he probably should have put it over the bar.
So what can Corofin do now in the opening minutes of the second half? The cornerback John Rees has it now. John Rees wearing 4 finds Diarmuid Cahill, who put over a 2-pointer, a super 2-pointer in that first half. It was one of 2 2-pointers, if that's not too much of a mouthful. Brian McNamara did the same for Cooraclare. So an extended bit of possession now with Damien O'Loughlin. Great run from O'Loughlin, breaking forward. 2 Cooraclare men in front of him. O'Loughlin needs somebody. Cian Doolan's outside him. He gives it back as far as Diarmuid Cahill, but not the greatest effort from Diarmuid Cahill on that occasion, and Harry O'Gorman dealt with that no problem at all. And Cooraclare now with Jake Gary. Gary in front of him is Sean O'Dea, gives it to O'Dea. Good stuff from Cooraclare. The captain, Gary Donlan, bursting forward. Good run from Donlan. Finds Simon Culligan. Culligan, nice ball outside of his left foot. Lovely first time ball into the inside line to, I think it's Shane Lillis has it. Lillis does well to hold on to it. Finds Sean Brown. Brown recycles back as far as Sean O'Dea. O'Dea gives it to Pierce Lillis. Pierce Lillis on the ball a lot for Cooraclare. Put over 2 great points in that first half. One of the main reasons why Cooraclare came right back into that game after a slow enough start when Corofin were leading by 4 points to no score. Huge effort from Brian McNamara from well outside the arc. And James, even a player of his quality, the odd time maybe a small bit too optimistic that time.
Yeah, and how did Cooraclare get joy in the first half? They got joy by running at Corofin. Brian getting in behind the Corofin defence, not shooting from outside range.
So the kick out is won by Cooraclare, that Corofin kick out. So Cooraclare now have a couple of men on the overlap here, and Townsend has it. He's in. Is a shot on? He goes to ground. No free, and the umpire says it was wide, and might have been a bit of a chance of a free there, James.
Yeah, I suppose from where Gary was, he was. I think it was a fair. To be fair, Peter, I think it was a fair enough shoulder. But again, it shows the value, Peter, of winning the opposition kick out. Within that 2 or 3 seconds that you can get in behind, and the team that takes the chances and gets the first goal in this game, they're going to have a fair chance of winning it if they can punish that opposition kick out.
Luke Needham now. This one goes into the air a bit. Takes a while to come down. When it does come down, a Corofin man wins it, and that man is Kevin Keane. Gives it to John Rees. Rees spreads it to the far side. Corofin looking to come out now with their right half back, Quivin O'Donovan. O'Donovan gives it back to Rees. Rees under pressure. Gives it back to O'Donovan. O'Donovan knows there's a couple of Corofin men free on the far side of the field. One of them is Damien O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin made a great run a couple of minutes ago. O'Loughlin now pops it as far as Garrod Kelly. Garrod Kelly taking on Brian McNamara. Good run from Kelly. Good battle between the two of them. McGrory has it. And Corofin with Evan Doolan. Doolan has it now, gives it to Garrod Cahill. Garrod Cahill has put over 4 from play in that first half. And he's now drifting out the field a bit. Kevin Keane has it. Corofin now being, fairly patient. At this stage, they're 3 points up. John Rees looks around. Rees pops it off as far as Sean O'Brien. Great run from O'Brien. Can he get the shot in? He's fouled there by Pearsall. It's just pulled back a small bit. Definitely a free in. And a handy enough opportunity, James, here for Diarmuid Cahill to make it a 4-point game.
Yeah, and just something, maybe a technical in the rule, Peter. Sean O'Brien got the ball from a hand pass. He bounced the ball into himself, and his next play was a bounce. And then he tried to solo. Not sure. Could have been a free out. Luckily enough, he Gary Toomey deemed that he was fouled, and Diarmuid Cahill now makes it a 4-point game.
So that's Diarmuid Cahill's second score, but his third point, because his first score was a 2-pointer, and Corofin leading now by 10 points to Cooraclare's 6. And in the first half, you'll remember that Corofin put over the first 4 points of the game. Substitution here now for Cooraclare, and the man who's coming on is Colin McNamara. So Colin McNamara coming in to the full forward line, and we'll see in a second now who comes off. In fact, it's Shane Lillis wearing 15, or is it Shane Lillis? I think it's the full forward. It's Kevin Marlin who's come off. So Kevin Marlin wearing 14 substituted, and the man who's replaced him is Colin McNamara. Ball kick out in the middle of the field. Brilliant stuff there from Sean Brown. Space here now for Darrell Townsend. Great run from Townsend. Can he get the finish? Referee playing advantage, so the shot is on. Cooraclare might as well take the shot, and whatever happens, they're going to have a free in anyway. And they won't need that free, because that's an absolutely excellent score off his left foot, and it's put over by Shane Lillis. That was a super score.
Excellent score, Peter. And again, I suppose from this point, it was actually a Cooraclare kick out. They got the ball on the front foot, no players on the ball, moved the ball up quick and, got their score.
Garrod Kelly knew that Luke Nealon needed somebody to make a run, and Garrod Kelly went short, or moved towards the kick out, and he was well found there by Luke Nealon. John Rees finds Jamie Malone. Jamie Malone taking on Cooraclare's Garrod Lillis. Lillis defending really well against Jamie Malone. Malone gets it back as far as Garrod Kelly, takes the shoulder from Brian McNamara, holds on to it well, finds Killian McGrory, his midfield partner. McGrory gives it to Diarmuid Cahill. Nice ball forward into Garrod Cahill. Great stuff from Garrod Cahill. If this goes over, it'll be some score. It doesn't. He was under pressure as he kicked it, and you can just see, James, that there's been, I don't know what it is, Cooraclare just defending with a small bit more aggression maybe than they were in the first half.
Yeah, you can see there Gary Donlan got hands on Garrod Cahill to force him to kick it wide. That's something that Gary didn't do in the first half, and something that we kind of spoke off air about, that Gary you will have to get a little bit tighter, or Cooraclare might be looking at a change. And a decent start from Gary, even though Garrod won that first ball of the second half.
Harry O'Gorman now to let his kick out. Won nicely by Kieran Chambers. Jack Carey has it. Carey's had a great game for Cooraclare. Going to be under a bit of pressure here now from Sean O'Brien. And eventually, technical foul, free forward. And is Gary Toomey going to bring it forward?
50 metre, yeah, it's 50 metres, Peter. Jack threw the ball away. He didn't hand it back. He was very unlucky. He slipped, ball touched the ground, and now it's on Killian McGrory. I suppose I noticed in half time, Peter, the wind has picked up a little bit. So and it is favouring Cooraclare that little bit more. There's probably maybe a point or two in the breeze. So it'll be interesting to see now whether, like Harry O'Gorman missed it right before half time. Be interesting to see now whether Killian McGrory can keep his 100% record up.
So this could be a really big moment, because if Killian McGrory puts this over, a 3-point lead will of course become a 5-point lead, so right on the 45. Killian McGrory takes 2 steps, and that is well struck, but didn't have the accuracy and goes wide, and a bit of a let off there. And James, in those circumstances, the 1 point was on Would you not take the 1 point?
Yeah, but again, for a player, Killian's ability, he'll back himself to kick the 2. Now again, as I said, Peter, that wind is kind of blown to that left, to the left of Harry's goals as we look, because Harry missed one and Killian's after missing this, one in the second half. So hopefully that won't have too much of a bearing in the game.
Gary Donlan took the short kick out and goes for the return here as well. Good stuff from Donlan. Finds Sean Brown. There's a real zip to Cooraclare now. They know that they've just got to go after this. Roland Donlan pops it forward. Good stuff from Cooraclare, but great stuff. Really, really excellent stuff there from Sean O'Brien. Won it back. Turned it over. But loose from Corofin on the way out. The wrong man has it. McNamara gives it forward inside. McNamara takes the return. Great stuff. Lillis going on. Back of the net. Brilliant. Absolutely magnificent finish from Shane Lillis. What a goal, James.
All one-touch football, Peter. Brian McNamara central to it. A mistake. A hand pass into Killian McGrory. He didn't get his hands on it. Brian McNamara picked it up, and one-touch football puts the ball in the back of the net, and now we're level 10 minutes into the second half.
So 20 minutes left in this TUS intermediate county final. Luke Neelan goes short. Good kick out finding Quivin O'Donovan. Game on. It's level. Corofin 10 points, Cooraclare 1-7. That was an absolutely superb finish from Shane Lillis, and made by that run there from McNamara. Just punctured the middle of the Corofin defence, made it happen. The chance was there and it was buried. So fascinating 20 minutes left here in Zimmer Biomet Park, Kissogue. It is of course the first of a double header. The second game, senior county final, will also be brought to you live here on Clare GA TV. Aero, the champions, up against St. Joseph's, Dura Bearfield. McGrory finds Cahill. Gerard Cahill. This looks like a handy opportunity for a man of his ability, and that's exactly what it is. He strokes it over the bar. It's his 5th point. And James, it's a very obvious thing to say, but you just can't leave Gerard Cahill have that much space.
No, definitely not. And he seems to have switched his roles. He was playing deep inside. He's now come out, and it has allowed Jamie and Diarmid to go a little bit deeper. And it's something we'll see now. And again, he Garrow would have done it in the semi-final. See, can he come a bit deeper, and can he trouble Gary Donlan running at him? And he did that just there by kicking a lovely score.
Couple of changes. Ronan Donlan has been taken off for Cooraclare, and the man who's come in, I think, is number 22, Aidan Considine. So he's in at left cornerback, and Keane Doolan taken off for Corofin, and the man who's come in is number 21, Colin Breen, and he's in the game straight away. Breen pops it off. Bit of space here now for Corofin. Diarmid Cahill is in. Can he get the shot in? What a goal! Brilliant from Diarmid Cahill. And if Shane Lillis's finish at one end was lethal, well, that was equally lethal. Super finish, James.
2 left foot shots, and Peter, a man that didn't touch the ball there, actually made the goal. The ball came to Sean O'Brien, and Garrod Cahill came towards the ball, knew he wasn't getting it, left the space for Diarmid to run in behind, and Diarmid is a little finisher, and stretches Corafin's lead again to 4 points.
So Diarmid Cahill has at this stage put over 1-3, the goal, the 2-pointer, and also another point from a free as well. So he's 1-3 on the scoreboard, and his brother has 5 points. Cooraclare now doing everything they can to hit back here, but that's really well run there by Colin Breen. He's only on about a minute, but he's already been involved in the play twice. Real energy and speed to Corofin now in the last few seconds into the goal scorer, Diarmid Cahill. Tries to find a brother, Diarmid. Great ball. Brilliant. Jamie Malone off his left hand, puts it over the bar, and that's as good a score, James, as you'll see anywhere.
As I said, Peter, Barry Rogan, those 3 boys are arguably in the top 3 inside forwards in any team in Clare. The 3 of them touch the ball there. There's an instinctive nature, obviously, with the 2 brothers, and Jamie's playing with them so long. It's second nature to them, and some of the scores that we've seen here today have been excellent.
And the Cooraclare goal, well, it's been met as Colin Breen goes high. Brilliant. He's been outstanding since he's been brought on. Gives it back to Rees. The Cooraclare goal has been met with quite a response from Corofin, who are leading now by 5 points, 112 to 17. Cooraclare know themselves better than anyone. They've got to get the next score to get back into this. Pierce Lillis switches the ball, switches the play to the far side of the field. Bit of space here now for
a couple of Cooraclare men to try and make something happen. Shane Ellis makes a run to go short, but instead Cooraclare opt to go with Sean O'Dea. O'Dea gives it back, and just a small bit loose there from Cooraclare, and Corofin overturned it. And this is where Corofin are really dangerous, because when they have that bit of space and they've got lethal attackers, well, Kevin Keane knows that if he pops it inside there to Jamie Malone, if he goes short, which is exactly what he does, the chances are that Malone will put that over the bar, and that's exactly what he does. And that is brilliant from Malone, brilliant from Keane. And you look at, when you have forwards of that ability, James, you just give him the ball.
It's trademark Jamie, came towards the ball, got the short hand pass, had the strength to hold off Gerard Lillis and stroke the ball over the bar with his right foot. I know Cooraclare have made one change in their full back line, but and I know he's been in America, and I'm looking at the substitute bench. I think it's time maybe Fergal Donlan is introduced to try and tighten up that Cooraclare backline, because Jamie, Diarmid and Gerard are having to run to the park at the moment.
Diarmid Cahill tried to put it through the eye of a needle there. There was 4 or 5 Corofin men roaring for the ball, but there was nobody obviously free. Cooraclare won it back. Cooraclare man goes to ground. Simon Culligan free in for Cooraclare, and Simon Culligan is trying to bring it back maybe behind the arc there to see is there a 2-point opportunity. Harry Gorman comes up, and whether it's a 1 or 2 point opportunity, whatever it is, Cooraclare need to nail this one to try and get back into it.
Massively. Corofin, since Cooraclare drew level, it's been all Corofin. They've had 1-3 without reply, and Cooraclare badly need it. And luckily enough, we're able to win that free, because it looked as if Corofin had control of possession and were going to come out with it again. And I know Harry, this is only his second attempt at the goals, and he's been doing it all year. It's badly needed now for Cooraclare to go over the bar, and sadly for Harry, it's to the right and wide.
It just drifted wide. It was well hit, but it just drifted wide. So Aaron Townsend, now wearing 18, is coming in for Cooraclare, and he's coming in for Jake Gary. We have about 13 and a half minutes left, and Corofin are leading by 6 points, 113 to Cooraclare's 1 goal and 7 points. So Luke Nealon, what's he going to do with this one? Bangs it out to the middle of the field. Cooraclare man goes to ground, then a Corofin man goes to ground. No free either way. The ball breaks, and it's won by Cooraclare. And Brian McNamara, nice ball forward, nice dinked pass from McNamara into the other McNamara, Colin, the substitute. He pops it off as far as Sean Brown. The shot on now from Pierce Lillis, and it just drifts well wide. And Pierce Lillis knew the second he struck it that where exactly that was going. But I suppose Cooraclare, and so easy to say it from up here, James, they just need maybe a small bit of composure, get the next score no matter what it is.
Yeah, exactly, Peter. And to put the difference into two attacks is Colin McNamara won that ball, but it was 3 passes sideways before Pierce got the ball. It's not the same down the other end. There's a far more direct approach from Corofin, but again, there's a quality in the forward line too.
Outstanding fielding from Killian McGrory. In the middle of the field, takes the free nice and quickly to Gerard Kelly. Gerard Kelly looks inside to Diarmid Cahill. Diarmid Cahill, his jersey is pulled, but he holds on to the ball. Gives it back to John Rees. John Rees wearing 4, but he's been involved in quite a number of Corofin attacks on the ball. A lot for a cornerback, but this, of course, is a new game where basically everyone needs to be able to play football. John Keane is a man who's definitely well able to play football, and or Kevin Keane, I should say. Good stuff from Kevin Keane. Gives it back to Gerard Cahill. Colin Breen is making a run, but Gerard Cahill instead says, I'll give it back to Gerard Kelly. Kelly gives it back to Diarmid Cahill. And Corofin now, I suppose, popping around a small bit, James, and they know that the onus is on Cooraclare to push up on them.
Exactly that, and if Corofin can hold on to the ball here for the next couple of minutes, slow the game down, control possession, Cooraclare have to come out, and what's going to happen is gaps are going to appear on Gerard Kelly as he's in the space now. As Corofin has switched to play, he'll try and get one of his top 3 on the ball, and Corofin will look to stretch their lead.
And he does exactly that. He finds Cooraclare, who finds Jamie Malone. Jamie is at an angle. I don't think that's going over there. It's going to drop inside, and it eventually drifts wide. Evan Doolan did his best to keep the ball in play, but there was just too much height in it, too much length, and it drifted wide. Harry O'Gorman now is in a rush to take a kick out. Needs to find there's two Cooraclare. It's a great kick out from Harry O'Gorman, brilliant kick out, and he finds the wing forward Jack Carey. Jack Carey stolen the ball, breaking forward, and Carey puts a bit of air in that one. Well brought down by Pierce Lillis. This, if it goes over, would be a great score, and it is a great score from Pierce Lillis. And there's still 5 points in it, James, but like a bit of momentum, win the next kick out if Cooraclare get the next score. Suddenly then Corofin might feel the heat a small bit.
Yeah, and it has been a game of momentum swings throughout the 50 minutes of the game, and it was probably one of the few times Corofin were very laxed. Jack Carey had gone deep. He wasn't followed by Queeveen O'Donovan. Garrod Cahill didn't actually pick up anybody off the kick out, and a great kick out by Harry O'Gorman. And while Jack Carey took the shot and went for a 2-pointer, but again Pierce Lillis, who's pretty much had that free roll, was attacked up the pitch, won the ball, and has brought 5 points into the game now.
Evan Doolan was down there for a minute, but he's okay, he's up. And Luke Nealon now scanning the middle third of the field. Is somebody going to go short? Will he go wide? Will he go down the middle? He goes more or less down the middle. Brian McNamara goes up with one hand. It breaks for Pierce Lillis, who's just put over the last point now. If Cooraclare can get the next score, he finds McNamara. McNamara gets it under control. Rees trying to tackle him. Goal on! McNamara is in! Has to be a goal! It is! Back in the net, and the umpire waves the flag. Corofin are saying it wasn't in the net. Luke Nealon is saying it wasn't a goal, but the umpire says it was. Gary Toomey's going in. Interesting.
I think the umpire is going to say that Colin McNamara. He's giving it. I thought the umpire was going to say that Colin McNamara was actually in the square but the ball actually bounced in there. Now and again, as we said, it's the influence of Pierce Lillis and Brian McNamara. Again, Brian jumped. Pierce won the break, and off Corofin's kick out, we now have a 2-point game.
8 minutes left. There's a couple of points in it. Cooraclare making a substitution, bringing on they're bringing on Tyg Lillis, and the man who's coming off is Sean Brown, and Sean Brown's been on a lot of ball, James.
Excellent. Yeah, no, he's had a good game, linked the play from defence to attack, and has put in a decent 55-minute shift.
So the latest kick out goes out over the sideline. It's a line ball for Corofin. So that goal from the substitute Colin McNamara has brought Cooraclare right back into it. They at one stage were 6 points down. McNamara does brilliantly. Cuts Rob's Rees is a point on. It goes wide. That was did very, very well to win it back, but just to finish, it was a bit of an acute angle.
Yeah, no, he's had a big influence on the game. He's an old-fashioned full forward, Peter. He's very hard to get out in front of. He's won his ball, and he's been central to Cooraclare getting themselves back into the game.
Sean O'Brien was desperately looking for that kick out and did really well. Took the dunt then as he won it, and that was good stuff from Sean O'Brien, and it was a very good kick out as well from Luke Nealon under pressure. We've seen some very good kick outs from both goalkeepers under pressure in this TUS intermediate county final. Garrod Kelly now, good stuff from Kelly, finds McGrory, his midfield partner. The shot was on there for a sec, instead goes for Diarmuid Cahill, but Diarmuid Cahill skies that one, and Garrod wins it. Brilliant from Garrod Cahill inside off his left hand and goes wide, and he's already put over 2 points off his left hand, and James, he was just under massive pressure that time, but you could see what he was trying to do.
Yeah, and again it was a mishit shot, and one of the very few that Diarmuid had, and it broke to Garrod, but Garrod didn't take a chance. But again, another fella that's coming on as a substitute, Colin Breen, has done really, really well and won an important kick out there for Corofin and set them on the attack.
And I think that's the second kick out he's won. Jamie Malone from distance. If this goes over, it'll be a 2-pointer. It's going to drop short, and Harry Corman does very, very well there, because Gerald Cahill was in his eye line, but he did well. Kieran Chambers pops it off. Cooraclare now know if to get the next score here that anything could happen. Gary Donlan has it. Cooraclare get it forward to Simon Culligan. Culligan's got a bit of space in front of him. He's going past the 45. But that pass from Culligan was not the best. It was cut out really well there by Kevin Keane. The next score is going to be vital. Whoever gets it, well, it's going to have naturally quite a big influence on the final score, because there's not too much time left. We've got 5.5 minutes left. So Corofin will know that if they can get the next score, that'll put them into a very, very strong position. If Cooraclare can get the next score, well then anything could happen. And Simon Culligan now trips the Corofin man. Gary Toomey, I think, is going to reach for a card. Sinan Kirby, I think, is going to come on, or is it Josh Ryan wearing 20? In fact, it's Josh Ryan wearing 20. And he's a good man to bring in, James. I think he scored 2-8 in the championship so far. Yeah, really impactful forward, and a good man to get a 2-pointer. I suppose from Corofin's perspective, you see where Jamie Malone is on the ball. He's inside his own half of the field now. Knows the game is in the melting pot. Jamie's going to come deeper. It's exactly where Cooraclare want him, but it's to control the game. And with the last 2 or 3 attacks, Corofin haven't got a score. Corofin, if they're to win this game, need to get this score to make sure that they stretch their lead to 3 points again. So one of the substitutes, Josh Ryan, just on there, was in possession. Gerard Kelly has it. The man who was taken off, Evan Doolan, just there about a minute ago, the Corofin wing forward. So Killian McGrory finds Damien O'Loughlin. Good stuff from O'Loughlin. Finds Breen, the sub, gives it back to O'Loughlin. But a brilliant... O'Loughlin gets the shot in. I was going to say it was good defending initially there from Jack Carey, but the ball broke eventually for O'Loughlin, and it was a lethal finish, and more than likely, James, a game-defining score.
Yeah, most definitely, Peter. Damien, it was a poor pass from Colin Breen. Damien did absolutely excellent. He'd have been happy to probably fist the ball over the bar and stretch the lead to 3. It's now 5. It probably reminds himself of what he did, 4 or 5 years ago in an intermediate final against Kildysart in injury time. And it could be defining.
And that particular goal, he's making a habit of scoring goals in intermediate finals, has put Corofin into a 5-point lead, and we've 3.5 minutes left. So unless Cooraclare can hit back straight away, that was good defending there from John Rees, read that well, deflected it away. I was going to say, unless Cooraclare can get the next score, well, this is going to be impossible for him to come back, given that it's a 5-point advantage to Corofin. So that second Corofin goal, more than likely the game-defining score. So Corofin now know that they've just got to kind of hold on to the ball, not make any mistakes, don't give it away, and they can see it out from here. That's the way they'll be looking at it, with Mark O'Loughlin gives it back to Breen, who's been outstanding since he's come in for Corofin. McGrory spreads it to the far side of the field to Kevin Keane. Kevin Keane now taking on Kieran Chambers, but Chambers shadows him outside him, but Keane goes again. He's going to give it back now to Sean O'Brien. O'Brien, I don't think he's going to have a shot from there, but instead he finds Diarmuid Cahill. Diarmuid Cahill off his left foot, shot definitely on, drop short. He'll be disappointed with that, and he's limping a bit now as well. So something happened there with Diarmuid Cahill when he was executing that kick. I don't know, is it cramp or what it is, but anyway, Cooraclare have it, and Cooraclare are robbed of possession now with Gerard Cahill. Gerard Cahill, referee is playing advantage, and Gerard Cahill decides, I don't really want advantage here, I just want to put the ball down and take the free. So let's see now, it's another, it was Aidan Consign, I think, who gave away the free. So this free is going to be taken. It's going to be no major panic from a Corofin point of view. Yellow card there for Aidan Consign. So Corofin are going to be slowing it down, James, and it's from their point of view now, it's about game management. And
that's exactly what they've done. When they got their 2 points up, and before Damien got the goal, Jamie positioned himself. He came all the way out. They had made a couple of forward changes, brought in Josh Ryan and Colin Breen, and Jamie is now controlling the game from the middle third. And who better on the pitch would you want controlling the game only Jamie Malone from a Corofin perspective.
Sinan Kirby comes in for Corofin, and that kick there from Killian McGrory goes straight over the bar, and that's now extends that lead into a 6-point lead, 2:14 to 2:8. And looking at the clock, we've got less than a minute left. Diarmaid Cahill taken off there, substituted, and we'll check in a sec as to who went in. In fact, it was Sinan Kirby who went in, so that's the latest substitution there for Corofin. Mark O'Loughlin on the ball in the middle of the field. Killian McGrory spreads it to the far side. And James, just be having to think about it in terms of a player of the match. There's been some really good performances from both teams, I suppose. Corofin now loses in the middle third, and Shane Lillis wins it now, winning it there in front of Quivino O'Donovan. Cooraclare more or less need a goal from this attack, and then another one from the next one, if they're going to have any chance of maybe forcing a replay here, and maybe they'll get a chance here, but Sean O'Dea was just surrounded by too many Corofin defenders, and Josh Ryan has it on the far side now. Josh Ryan gets it forward as far as Sean O'Brien. He pops it infield. Garrod Kelly has it now. Garrod Kelly looking around. Is there somebody off his shoulder? Colin Breen is, but instead he opts to give it to Garrod Cahill, who's now drifting out a bit from goal. Garrod Cahill has had an outstanding game as captain. I think it's 5 points in play from the Corofin full forward. John Rees gives it back to Killian Mullins, and Corofin just more or less running down the clock. Minute gone already in injury time. Haven't seen any indication as to how many minutes of injury time will be played, but I'd imagine probably 2, maybe 3 at most. There have been a good few substitutions. There's a Corofin man gone to ground. Barry Kelly, the linesman, isn't interested. Says everything is grand, and Corofin still have it now here with Mark O'Loughlin.
To be honest, Peter, when you look at the game, and the man that's on the ball now, Jamie Malone, he was the man that actually intercepted that last ball that Cooraclare had half a goal chance, to bring the game back to a one-score game. And, it's amazing, like in a game that we're watching today, all the big players from both sides, which is very, very unusual, have all stood up and delivered. And it's just, the ultimate difference between the two teams is the quality of the top 3 from Corofin to get them over the line and get the scores on the board.
Now, can Cooraclare do something here with Jack Carey? Carey strikes it from distance and puts that over the bar. It's a good point from Carey. He's third and a double Corofin substitution now. Colin Fitzgerald is coming in, as is Cathal Flanagan. The game now well into injury time, just over 2 minutes gone. There's 5 points in it. So it's just a case now of how much more injury time the referee's going to play.
I suppose for Colin and Carl to come in there, all through the championship, probably up to the quarter final, both those boys have played. They didn't, maybe see action in the semi final, and it's probably just reward for the year that Pat O'Brien and his management team have decided to give them game time. And to be fair, straight away, Carl Flanagan has won that kick out.
John Rees and Quivino O'Donovan taken off for Corofin. Corofin with Damien O'Loughlin spreads it over to Kevin Keane. So Corofin now just basically, I suppose, passing the ball around, trying to make sure that they don't make any mistake, don't give it away. Jamie Malone, the best man you could have on the ball, and he's fouled there, and takes the solo nice and quick, bangs it in as far as Garrod Cahill. Can Garrod Cahill finish with a flourish? He's had an outstanding game. Pops it off as far as Kevin Keane. I thought the shot might have been on there for Keane momentarily, but he decides to recycle and gives it back as far as Garrod Kelly. So Corofin now showing, I suppose, a lot of experience, James, a lot of know-how. just very frustrating from a Cooraclare point of view, but it's up to Cooraclare to try to somehow get it back off him.
Yeah, no, to be fair, Corofin, they're a very mature team. Yeah, they've 2 or 3 young lads, but they've been here before. They've played in Cusack Park. They've won intermediate finals, and the likes of Killian McGrory, Jamie Malone have been on county panels, and you see there the way they controlled out the game. I know you asked me a question earlier, Peter, just in relation to man of the match. Like, it's fair to say from the Cooraclare side of things, Brian Mack and Pearse Lillis definitely stood up. Jack Carey had 3 points, was involved in a lot of their play, had a really, really good game, ably supported the 2 boys. From the Corofin side of things, the 3 boys around the middle third of the pitch, Sean O'Brien, Killian McGrory and Garrod Kelly, with Damien O'Loughlin behind them, done really, really well.
Owen Brennan is on the sideline, and Owen Brennan is going to be talking to the Corofin manager, Peadar O'Brien. Owen.
We're joined by the victorious Corofin manager, Peadar. Peadar, you must be absolutely delighted with that. Real test of character there.
It was a relief to get up anyway, that's for sure. To the right, it was a real battle. We got a bit of a run them in the middle of the second half, and that was the difference really. We just got the goals at the right times.
But you kept coming back. They kept coming back at you, but you had the answers. That was the most important thing.
I suppose we found it a bit easier to get scores. Our inside forward line caused a lot of grief, and listen, I suppose forwards win games.
Absolutely, it's been a tough season with the hurlers going down. You were relegated yourselves in the football last year. The club needed a boost, and you got it.
Yeah, well, it's a big boost. At least we've won senior team, and it's a good weekend for the club. I mean, we won a Junior B yesterday. I know it's a bit off this, but it all adds up.
So a great weekend overall for Corofin.
Delighted, yeah.
Great stuff. I'll let you enjoy the celebrations. Thanks, Peadar. Well done. Enjoy the night. We're going to be joined here in a minute, Peadar. So, Peter, we'll end back to you just for a second there.
Thanks very much indeed to Owen Brennan there from the sideline, and thanks to Peadar O'Brien as well for speaking to us so soon after the final whistle. And James, sorry you were cut across there just as you were getting to your main point.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the performances and who's going to get potentially man of the match and things like that. But as I said, the big players stood up. But the big players that really stood up for Corofin were the 3 boys up top. They scored 2-14, and Jamie and the 2 Cals were involved in a lot of those scores.
We're going to go down again to Owen Brennan, and he's with Damien O'Loughlin. Owen.
I'm joined here with Corofin's Damien O'Loughlin. Damien, you must be absolutely delighted to get over the line there.
Yeah, very much so. We only had one job today, just to get over the line any way we could to get back senior. We fell over the line last year in bad circumstances in the relegation final, and we just wanted to right the wrongs of that. And it was a long slog for the year, but thankfully we done enough today. We kind of just took over control there in the second half and we got a goal, thankfully, and we were able to kind of hold out again. So yeah, it's great stuff.
And I suppose after losing the relegation final, the presentation's coming up here, but the relegation final, you had a great weekend here, the Junior B and Intermediate. It's great to get that boost.
Yeah, it was nice to bounce back from going down to hurling. We were dual senior last year and fell down in the football, and then fell down to hurling this year, so we didn't want to be playing intermediate bocos next year. So thankfully we're up again in one of them and try and get up in the other one and stay up there now. I don't want to be playing any more of these intermediate finals really.
And you don't have to. Listen, enjoy the night. Thanks very much. We're going straight to the presentation here. Thanks, Peter.
Thanks indeed to Owen Brennan for that, and fair play to Damien O'Loughlin. And you're talking about the inside forwards. They were brilliant. He was very good too.
Yeah, excellent. And in behind the 3 boys across the middle, Sean O'Brien, Garrod Kelly and Killian McGrory, Damien held their defence together, for the most part. But where Corofin won the game was up top. Even though Jamie Malone controlled the game the last 5 minutes, kicked his few scores. Yes, Dermot Cahill got a goal, but you have to say Garrod Cahill played an absolute outstanding part in Corofin winning it. As I said, without even touching the ball for Dermot's goal, he emptied out the space and it allowed Corofin to go and win the game. And for me, he was the man of the match today.
Garrod Cahill, man of the match, captain of Corofin, and he's waiting to collect the trophy.
On Curran Taldy Store's brother, our captain, on Florida, Garrod Cahill. Well done, Garrod.
Tána, sir,
an Curran Shaw Glacha, son Furan Corofin. Boalum, Buikas a Hurt, Dunrator, Gary Toomey, agus an Quid Ifakuk, Conclea Ian Tuckienov. Boalum, Buikas a Hurt, Fashion, the David Hoy, agus Dini As, Parky Sog, Con Park Ian Tuck, a Ian of an Firstly, to Cooraclare, just commiserations. You have a phenomenal team. You suffered the loss of a club legend a couple of weeks ago in Franco Lillis, and I've no doubt he'd be smiling down on you today for the performance he put in. You're a credit to him, to your proud club, and especially to yourselves and your fantastic coach Martin Daly, so give you a big round of applause. To our own club committee, to Patrick Burke and to Jerry Hanrahan, just a sad week on the passings of their fathers, Patrick and Jack Hanrahan, and we just commiserate with them and thank them for everything that they've done for us throughout the year. They left no stone unturned, and thanks a million for everything, guys. Yeah. To our previous management team, Douglas Hurley and Jeff O'Sullivan, you're phenomenal clubmen. Gave us everything there when you were involved and have continued to give us everything. Always there in the background with support, with bars, with drinks, the financial aspect of it. So just to the two of you, thanks a million for your support. We really appreciate it as a team. It would have been very easy for him to step away after last year. We didn't perform the way he set us up to perform. The training and the work that he's put in has been unbelievable. Every training session has been remarkable. The kicking that we do in training is so enjoyable. He's a tough, resilient man, and I hope he can stay with us, because I hope we showed his toughness and his resilience in our performance today. So thanks a million, Mark. So, Padder O'Brien, our manager. Padder has been involved in our last 3 successes, if not more, at intermediate level, 4. He's just a remarkable clubman. He took us over when maybe no one else wanted to get involved with us. We were at a low ebb at the time, but he stayed with us, he stayed plugging away, and I'm delighted that he'll hopefully bring us back up to senior football next year. Thanks a million, Padder. And finally, to the group of men down in front of me, I've said it all my life, the most remarkable men you'll ever meet, the best group of players I'm convinced our club has produced. They go out every week, hurling and football, never complain, do everything the management have asked them to do. Boys, you're a credit to yourselves, your families. The work you've done is unbelievable. Stick together, please. Stick together now, and we'll give it a belt next year. We'll get a few boys back. There's young lads coming up behind us.
stick together. We have a team, and this is for you. Up the fin.
And well done indeed to Cooraclare there. So James, just before we wrap up, we've mentioned, I suppose, why Corofin won it. Cooraclare brought an awful lot to the day as well.
Yeah, massive. I suppose Martin Daly said before the game, they were delighted to be where they were. Probably with the way the year started for them, didn't probably expect to be in an intermediate final. But that Cooraclare team is a very, very young team. Missing a very good player in Micheál Gary. A county standard player that they can put into that team. They're really, really building in the right direction. I suppose the big challenge now for Cooraclare is going to be, after they take their 2 or 3 weeks off, will they go back in the winter and will they try and drive it on, next year and build on the work that they've done this year. But, to be fair to them, they should be starting 2026 with a lot of confidence because, they played their part in an entertaining final that we had 4 goals, and it's not often that you can say, a final was 2-14 to 2-9. There's plenty of good scores in it, and, they played their part in that too.
And just very finally, James, before we finish up, of course, viewers will know that the county senior final is coming up at 3:30. Coverage will start here on Clare GA TV at 3 o'clock. What do you expect?
To be honest, Peter, I expect that it will depend on the first 10 or 15 minutes of the game. Who gets a foot goal, who gets laid on the marker. Dora Bearfield, let's call it a spade, they're going to be nervous going into the game. It's their first final. It's second nature here to a lot of the Rogue lads, and how that first 10-15 minutes goes, and how we'll see how the rest of the game is played out. If Rogue get a good start, the score could be anything. But if Bearfield, can get a couple of early scores and settle themselves into the game, and the likes of Paddy Bugler can kick his 2-pointers, well, then all of a sudden, we're going to have a game.
Well, we've had a very interesting intermediate county final. Corofin have won it 2-14 to 2-9, and the senior final coming up. Coverage starts here on Clare GA TV from 3 o'clock. So for myself, Peter O'Connell, for now, thanks a lot, and many thanks indeed to James Murray as well for his analysis throughout the intermediate final.
There's always a warm welcome waiting at O'Doherty's Bar, Cooraclare. Enjoy great pints, friendly company and the best of local crack in the heart of the village. Whether it's a quiet evening by the fire or a lively night with friends, O'Doherty's is the place to be. O'Doherty's Bar, Cooraclare. Good friends, good times, great memories.